Passive income, the holy grail of personal finance topics, is the ability to earn money without doing anything. It quite literally doesn't get any better than that, does it? And it's something you'll see video after video, ad after ad, talking about, pushing the idea that millionaires earn 7 different streams of income, and so should you. There's just one problem. Passive income doesn't really exist. Not really, anyway. There are, of course, ways of making money that deviate from your standard 9 to 5, where time spent working and compensation have a pretty linear relationship. But the vast majority of these so-called passive income strategies that you see advertised online, especially here on YouTube, are at best misrepresented and at worst completely fabricated and prey on the financially desperate. Now, it's not to say that some of these strategies don't have their merits. Well, I just don't like the term passive income. Some of these things might make money over time, but for the ones that sound too good to be true, where you quite literally don't have to put in any effort, you're often more likely to lose when you consider the fees and registration costs that you're being charged to even try the thing. So let's break down why passive income isn't all that promising, but why you keep hearing about it on the internet. Passive income is usually used to reference an income stream that is somewhat self-sustaining once you set it up. It doesn't necessarily require your active involvement, meaning that you can have more time to yourself to hang about poolside or play video games, do whatever you want. But outside the lottery or lucky inheritance, there's not really such a thing as passive income, at least not in the truest sense. Instead, when people say passive income, they really are referring to one of two things: investment income or entrepreneurial income. Now, there's certainly nothing wrong with these approaches, and they do change how your effort is rewarded, but they don't eliminate that effort requirement. And there's a very easy explanation as to why anything that promises a high reward without any effort is in most cases a gimmick. But let's start by explaining these two streams of income, starting with investment income. And the idea of owning assets that generate some sort of yield, whether it be stocks, bonds, or rental properties, is not a bad idea. Now, I have no problem with people making money from their investments, and I would hope naturally that you do. But as a passive income strategy, when it comes to the pretty big caveat where it requires that you have the money in the first place to purchase those income producing assets. In fact, when people reference millionaires earning 7 different streams of income, from which stems for a 2002 report from the IRS, it's not often mentioned that 4 of these strategies, dividend, rental, interest, and capital gains income, require money in the first place to achieve a good amount of it, especially if you want to earn anything really meaningful. If you could reliably achieve a 7% return on your money, for example, and if you wanted to replace your annual active salary of $42,000 a year, which is roughly the average personal income of someone in the United States, well, then you'd need to accumulate $600,000 in net savings. Not an easy step. There are some strategies I've seen to promise to earn you passive income without needing that upfront capital or effort. For example, investment bots that take whatever you have and grow it faster than the market using proprietary software, or courses that promise to show you how to start building a real estate empire by putting 5% down on several different properties when you're 19 years old. The problem is that these products never represent the true risk-reward trade-off that you face implementing them. The idea, for example, that someone should take everything they have and put it into a down payment on a rental property is pretty stupid. Bad advice when real estate, on average, is a good investment category and is a legitimate strategy for building wealth, given that, the rental income as well as the appreciation. It also comes with large unexpected costs and risks like broken water heaters or a hole in the roof that you need to repair. There's also the risk of your payments increasing, something that is becoming painfully aware as interest rates rise. So clearly, if you don't have a cash buffer to help absorb these extra costs or a couple of months of unpaid tenant rent, then it could be enough to sink any thinly run operation. As for trading bots, they don't work. I don't care what YouTuber told you that they made 20% this past month. It's utter survivorship bias that may as well be an advertising on a roulette wheel, because it'll give you the same odds. So right away, you can see why I struggle with people emphasizing the passive nature of investment income. Yes, if you get to a point where you have enough capital, it can be a very powerful tool for freeing up your schedule if you end up relying on that type of income. But it requires more savings from an actively generated income than the average individual will ever likely achieve. But what about other forms of passive income? Well, going back to these 7 streams of millionaire income, which people like to focus on when you exclude the earned income, since that's what loses, there are 2 remaining avenues: royalties and licensing and business profits, aka entrepreneurial income. Now, the idea of an entrepreneur's income being passive should sound a little laughable. According to the New York Enterprise Report survey, the average small business owner works twice as hard as their employees, with 25% working at least 60 hours a week. So leaving your 9-to-5 job for a business venture to free up your schedule is probably not going to work out. There are still some ventures advertised online that allegedly let you set up some sort of self-sustaining business that doesn't require any amount of effort, something that anyone can set up and leave to its own devices and earn you money. This includes drop shipping stores, ad placement strategies, selling digital products, content creation, and the convoluted pyramid schemes that promise your financial freedom if you get other suckers to pay for the program that you just sunk a few $1,000s yourself into. Some of these strategies can make you money. With digital products, for example, the idea that once you create a thing of value and put it on the internet to sell, you can keep making money from it over time. There is some truth to that and validity to it. It doesn't require the same type of maintenance as a traditional business, but the idea is that you have to get to a point where you have a thing of value. You oftentimes still require a good amount of effort, among other things, and there's a very easy explanation as to why the promise of high returns with low efforts for some of these strategies doesn't hold any water. Take drop shipping, for example. The basic idea of drop shipping is that you build a storefront online that sells a product manufactured and shipped from a third party so that you can earn a markup without dealing any type of logistics. The basic setup can only take a few hours and likely cost tons of $500 to get set up with a web domain, an online storefront, and perhaps even less if you use a site like Amazon to sell your product or service, such as Teespring, where you can design your own t-shirts and sell it through their website. After that, you wouldn't have to sit at a cash register or stock any shelves or make any type of sale. It's all pretty automated for you. Well, great. So what's the catch for this low effort and low cost strategy? Well, ironically, because of how easy it is for an individual to set up a store and dropship something as a novelty, such as like a fancy coffee mug, you can bet that there are thousands others doing the exact same thing, possibly even with the exact same product, providing insurmountable supply of novelties when there are only probably about 10 people out there who actually want the thing. But then why are there people out there being successful in these strategies? So why are there examples of people making so much money from it? Well, firstly, I want to address that most of these examples shown in ads are incredibly biased and shouldn't be relied upon. And the people who take the route of showing individual success stories rather than showing the strategy success rate at a high statistical level probably have thousands of other students who fail to break even during the approach. Even still, some people do at times make money with these entrepreneurial ventures, and there are typically 3 reasons why. The first thing is timing. With most ventures, there's some sort of first mover advantage with dropshippers, but returns from these ventures can quickly diminish over time as more and more people start taking advantage of it, leading to an oversupply of a situation which quickly eliminates the opportunity for everyone else. It's basic arbitrage. Even those who make money from this venture probably won't see a sustainable cash flow. If a successful dropshipping store, for example, that might make money for a few months, even perhaps a year, but eventually you'll see activity die down and it's truly left to its own devices. So by the time you see an ad for a course that someone spent a few months putting together and trying passive income strategies, as well as getting these other successful 3 stories to back it up, you can bet that the opportunity is probably past. Now, the second factor with these online strategies you'll probably guess is luck. Take, for example, YouTube. I would love to say that there's a surefire way to get into this position, but I truly don't believe there is. There's over 720,000 hours of content uploaded to YouTube alone, and 90% of that will never pass the 1,000 view mark, at which point you'll only make a few dollars. Luck plays a huge role in every entrepreneurial effort, and the same applies to online courses, ebooks, blogs, and honestly any type of digital product where you're fighting in a sea of content creators to stay afloat and to be recognized. And then that brings the third factor of success, which is effort. Nearly 90% of e-commerce stores fail within the first 4 months, including those with a unique product set. But the ones that will do well are likely the ones where people put more time and effort to customize their products and work with suppliers and secure new drop competitors, market their goods correctly, in other words, actively earning their keep. And true, if you have a successful product, there might be some recurring revenue thereafter, but oftentimes that revenue will slow down over time. Sustained revenue on YouTube, for example, requires that you put continual content as views often trickle out. Between researching, script writing, filming, and editing, I wouldn't say there's anything passive about it. But then why do we keep seeing others promote these different strategies? Well, that's an easy one, because truly, one of the most successful and lucrative passive income strategies is selling other passive income strategies. The reason one of the most watched finance videos on YouTube is 9 passive income ideas, how I make $27,000 a week, is because there's quite literally nothing more financially appealing than making money without any effort. And the reason you'll be served ads about how dropshipping is making people rich is not because dropshipping actually makes people money, but because the person that is giving the ad makes money from selling the idea. With the sign-up fees for their course or their academy, even though you'd likely make less on an hourly basis for using that type of strategy than you would for driving an Uber, for example. So it's been a little negative so far, but my intent here isn't to discourage you from pursuing other passive income strategies if that's what you want to do. I'd say go for it. If you take a chance and actually end up making some money for it, that's great. All the more power to you. But my point is that you need to go into it with eyes open. Passive income really just means front loading from your work, not eliminating it. In the vast majority of strategies, most do require some form of continued effort to sustain the money that you're making. Now, none of this is to actually criticize people who actually use the term passive income or to share ideas freely on how to make extra cash on the side. So if you want to try out some of these strategies, all the more power to you. But be aware of the time and the capital that you're spending on it to make the money deem whether it's actually worth it or not. And maybe don't add to your break-even hurdle by buying a $2,000 course on a dropshipping from someone who's just trying to fund their own passive income strategy. If their strategy was successful and made them make as much money as possible, well, then they wouldn't need to sell you an ad on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts on these strategies that we talked about today, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for joining. Be safe out there.